students are gone, but you are still here. And we know how you feel because you are done. But you have so much work to do to get ready for tomorrow. Good afternoon, podcast listeners everywhere. Welcome to After the Bell, a Stunt Brothers production. A podcast that gets inside the life of a teacher and provides a wellness guide for being prepared to take on this most challenging of professions. I'm Martin Stuvel.
And I'm Roy Hunt. And we share your pain, having taught a combined 70 years. The guarantee of this podcast is to make you laugh, make you think, and give you at least one little nugget that you can use in the classroom. So get out your marking, organize your supplies, or just pour yourself a coffee.
I want something stronger.
And listen, engage, and interact with After the Bell, a podcast for you, the hard-working, dedicated teacher who wants 3 lesson plans, free advice, and a free meal.
Okay, Roy, but I'm not paying for anything more than McDonald's. Well, Roy, here we are. We're all set.
Episode 41.
That's right. Season 2,
Season
episode
2.
11.
Episode 11, yeah.
Actually, you're not Roy. I'm looking at your cap. Your cap says Elroy. What is this? E-L and then R-O-Y.
Elroy.
What is this Elroy?
Well,
is that like Elroy was here?
Well, no, that was Kilroy was here.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
I can't believe that I know that. This is from World War II.
That is? Oh, it was the cartoon character, the big nose sticking over the fence or whatever? Yeah. So that's not you. You're Elroy.
I'm Elroy. And I think part of it was in the rural community that I grew up in.
Yes.
Everybody had nicknames for each other, and my name was Roy. And I go, right? There's not a whole lot you can do with the 3-letter name.
Remember we did What's in a Name episode, and you know what my nickname was. So.
Yes. I mean, I was called by friend Roy Boy. Okay. Didn't like it.
Yeah.
And then I've been called Elroy.
Okay.
And I've been called Leroy.
Okay.
And so Elroy kind of stuck with our friends. And so when we would go to the cabin out in the Okanagan in the summertime, they'd say, "Hey, Elroy," and I'd go like, and I like that.
And then you had hats made.
And then my friend made a hat for me at Christmas time.
I see.
As a Christmas present.
Yeah.
And this is the hat. And it says Elroy.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. So
there you go.
So you today shall be Elroy.
I am Elroy.
I'm still Martin. Keep it at that. We won't go back to anything with that.
I'm not going to say anything about that.
Well, last week we were talking about our excitement with the Blue Jays.
Yes.
The Blue Jays were looking good.
They were looking good.
And
right
then,
up to game 7.
Right up to like inning 10.
Yes.
Oh, what a heartbreaker.
And then to lose by 1 run.
1 run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, it was an amazing series. We talked about it a little bit before.
Yeah.
And
no, you couldn't ask for better from the Blue Jays, so no shame in that loss.
I would be interested in knowing when the summer rolls around in 2026, how many new baseball players will be on teams into small league teams.
Yeah.
How many kids will want to say, I want to play baseball now?
I bet there'll be an increase in participation.
Usually there's some kind of a catalyst.
Yeah.
And I would believe the World Series is that catalyst
to
get kids who are watching go, I want to be a baseball player.
Yeah.
It was definitely an amazing experience. And I'm sure there are some kids who say, I want to play baseball.
I think so. Well, I had an amazing week last week. It was a bit of a full circle week, a blast from the past in both directions.
Okay.
So first I went out for lunch with Ev, who I taught 30 years ago. I was a grade 5 teacher 30 years ago.
Wow.
Wow, made me feel old. I hope it didn't make her feel old, right? She's still young. But it was really awesome to catch up. And it was really neat after all this time to get together and just reminisce and chat. Mm-hmm. But then, 6 days later, I did it in reverse, and I had an evening where I got together with my former teacher, Christine Miller,
Okay.
and about 5 of us who were classmates with her 50 years ago.
Wow.
She was our grade 4 and 5 teacher, and everyone just like, she's one of these teachers that had such an impact on so many people, and it was so wonderful for her to hear that from all these people.
Oh, I bet.
And I even had someone who actually is a jazz musician, and he is in Sicily, so he couldn't make it. And he wrote this lovely letter that he wanted me to share with her about her kindness helping him when he once won, it was a field event, and there was no ribbons. They ran out of ribbons, even though he came first. So she brought him up to the class, and he remembers her. She drew a ribbon for him. She drew a ribbon and cut it out. And here he is, right? 50 years later, remembering that moment and her kindness.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a really neat full circle moment.
I
It was
bet.
just heartwarming. But
Yes.
yeah, you've been in the class a little bit?
Been
a little
in-
bit?
in
Yeah.
a little bit, just 1 or 2 days a week.
Yeah, that's
And
enough.
that is enough.
Yeah.
Right. And teaching still in the grade 3 to 5 forum, and all the things that happen in the classroom, but you're in there for a day, and you're trying to acclimatize yourself as you're teaching what was provided for you for the day plan, and trying to make connections with the kids, and you're trying to get it all done and packed up in under 6 hours.
Well done. Well, it's a challenge, but we're too busy doing this podcast. This is becoming more and more of a full-time job.
Yes. And we're getting more and more people connected to us.
We are. We
And
have.
so-
We have. There's 2 new listeners from Virginia. One from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and someone from Ashburn, Virginia, and a new listener from Tel Aviv, which was kind of cool.
Wow.
Right? So we're reaching across the waves
Right.
and across the oceans.
Somehow they're
And it's
hearing
just,
us.
yeah, so busy with all that, and it's wonderful that this podcast has become such a thing, and we're enjoying it. And you're busy in the class,
Busy in the
busy with this
class.
podcast.
And then
Anything else keeping you busy?
I'm getting busy winterizing everything.
Yeah, it's that
right?
time of year.
Yes. So, I pulled out the tarp. I have the lawn furniture all organized. I don't have a big garage to put the lawn furniture in, so
Yeah.
I have a tarp.
Right.
And so I pushed all the furniture close together, put the tarp over top of it, and there are rips in the tarp. And I go like, how did that happen?
Weather took over somewhere. What's this about?
So do I go out and buy a new tarp? And you see, the thing is, there's 2 things. First of all, I like to think that I'm a problem solver, right? I look at stuff and go, oh, no.
MacGyver.
I can MacGyver
to the rescue,
that.
right?
I don't like to throw things out
Yeah.
if there's a possibility that it can be reused.
No, I'm
right?
totally that way.
Right? And so I looked at
I get
the
mocked
tarp,
for that.
and then I go like, oh, I know I can use some duct tape.
Duct tape is just
Duct tape.
fantastic.
And so I grabbed the duct tape, and I found the splits in the tarp, the rips,
Yeah.
and I patched them.
Yeah.
And then I put everything together, and it was fine. So I didn't have to end up buying a new tarp. And
Yeah.
how long will it last? Well, it's anyone's guess. But if it lasts through the winter, then it lasts through winter.
I'm all about getting things to last as long as they could. I'm sure I would duct tape underwear if I could.
That changes
Don't go there.
subject. Martin wants to wear duct tape underwear.
But I get mocked for my willingness to try to keep things going and keep them out of the landfill. We have this carpet cleaner, and it's reaching its end, I guess, and we've been duct taping it because it's leaking and stuff. But eventually, even I had to admit that it's time to replace the carpet cleaner. But duct tape's an amazing thing.
It is.
I think there's somebody, I think it was a Mythbusters, they actually built a boat out of it.
Yes.
I don't know if it was someone that had escaped from a prison using duct tape or something, and they proved that it actually
They proved that it
floated.
could float. I've seen sandals made out of duct tape
Really?
that someone has worn, not underwear.
That's good.
Well, we could look at some
What are
uses of
what
duct
are some
tape.
uses of duct tape? I bet there's
Because I know
many,
there's a lot.
many. Yeah, okay.
I've got fixing tents.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean, when it comes to camping, I always have a roll of
right?
duct tape in the back
that
of the car.
So you could, because it is water repellent, so
Yeah.
you could fix tents for that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Removing splinters.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? So you get to split
Just
your
that
finger, just
right?
put it in there
Okay.
because of its stickiness.
Sticky enough, but not too sticky, right?
And I've never done it, but you could use duct tape and put it over top of warts.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
somehow the glue from the duct tape over top of the wart will cause the wart to gradually disappear.
Huh. Well, there's a few people, I actually wouldn't mind using duct tape on. Some of our TikTok videos are actually really taking off, and especially the ones where we talked about the strike in Alberta and class sizes of 40. And, a lot of the comments are good, but it's bringing out the trolls, right? Those TikTok trolls that just spend their time going through saying negative comments.
Yeah.
And a few of them, I don't know. Even duct tape can't fix stupid. But it can muffle the sound.
It can muffle the
sound. So it
sound.
might be in use for that. I mean, it's great to you just have to ignore that noise, because that's the thing about social media and online behavior. None of it is over the top where I find it's threatening or so horrible, but it's just you start to get a taste of some people who don't really want a constructive conversation. They just get this joy in that. So that might be a place for duct tape. But duct tape.
Yeah.
Duct tape. I think we're hitting on something. And I think sometimes we in education feel like we're throwing some duct tape to solve every
the
problem, right?
Duct tape that.
I mean, it becomes the go-to fix it for everything. And, sure, it holds the bumper on. I've seen cars, right? Have you
Yes.
seen those cars, right? Keeps shoes together, stops those leaks. But sometimes in the classroom, when we know the problems are far greater than maybe that duct tape can handle, but we're looked upon to be the ones just, here's your duct tape.
Yeah. Because duct tape's not the solution.
No,
It's
no.
a temporary
And that's the
fix.
key. It's a temporary fix, right?
Yes.
And I think more and more schools have been taking on things that they certainly didn't in the past. And I think, as we'll get into later on in this episode, we of course want social emotional learning as a focus of any classroom. You and I have talked about that being the foundation. So we're not saying we want to go back to the 3 R's only days, but maybe there's too much we're taking on. There was even a comment, because we had a sense we wanted to kind of touch on this, and someone on our Facebook page said, great idea for a topic, the idea that maybe teachers are taking on too much. And we came up with the idea of duct tape. Why have all issues become teacher issues? If so, why isn't it resourced better and educators paid in relationship to societal expectations? So that was a really great comment on our Facebook group for the After the Bell podcast.
So I think we have the title for our podcast.
Okay, what should we call it?
And I think we should call it Duct Tape Education, the myth that teachers should fix everything.
Yeah, I mean, teachers, they want to fix everything. That's why they're in this profession. And they probably can fix everything to a certain point. They can make it work. You can give them that duct tape. They can patch things up, and they'll be very successful. But sometimes that hides some of the structural problems in the educational system.
Right. Because there's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's certain things that are expectations for you to get covered.
Yeah.
But then you're duct taping other things together.
Yeah.
But the time remains the same.
And that's why that metaphor of the duct tape, I think it's a good visual, because we all know that's supposed to be temporary.
Yes.
Right? That is not supposed to be the solution. But often it's given to us if that's the solution to the problem. So let's look at that. Let's wait for the nugget sound and get into this a little deeper. And there's the nugget sound, Elroy.
Yes, the nugget.
Tell us what the nugget is.
The nugget is the takeaway, something that you can use in a classroom that can help you and to improve your teaching, or at least cause you some to reflect and look at how
you can change your practice, right?
How your practice, or how this can help to change your practice.
Yeah. And sometimes we come up with the nugget right away, and then we talk. Sometimes we kind of flesh it out and kind of get to the point. I think we're not going to get quite to what the nugget is yet,
right?
Because I think we need to get this idea of this duct tape.
Okay,
right?
Not everybody.
Yeah, I don't know. Australia listeners, is duct tape like a big thing?
Do they even call it duct tape?
They probably have a different name for it.
Right.
Australian terms,
yes.
The Barbie and everything else. So maybe there's some other ways that we can use to get this idea across of what education is just temporarily doing that really isn't a fix.
Well, I'd like to bring back Roy's marvelous metaphors.
Okay.
And Roy's amazing analogies.
Okay.
Yeah.
You love them. You
Marvelous
love
metaphors rolls off the tongue
It
better.
does.
Amazing analogies.
Yeah.
I think what I have here are more analogies.
I think the
than
problem we
metaphors.
mix it. We bring metaphors, analogies, similes, and we kind of refer to them in some kind of collective way. And when we know
Yes.
the English teachers are cringing when we use the wrong term for it, right?
So here we go.
Yes. Okay.
So we're using the idea of duct tape, but I'm giving you some other ways of looking at it. Okay. So first of all, do you have a drawer in your house that is a catch-all for everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Everybody does, right?
Right. So
paper clips.
Sometimes we call it the junk drawer, but this is
straws,
things that
poppies from Remembrance Days from the last 30 years.
It's difficult to find a way to organize it, so you just throw it all together. Mm-hmm. So education as the catch-all drawer, where every problem gets stuffed.
Yeah, right? Just put it in the drawer. And now, teacher, you now take that drawer and sort it.
And sort it, yes. Or how about education, the Swiss Army knife of social policy.
Okay.
Expected to solve problems with tools never meant for the job.
Right. Be a MacGyver, like we've said,
MacGyver.
right?
Well, speaking of MacGyver,
Okay.
I have one right here.
Okay.
Teachers, MacGyvers of modern policy, saving the day with nothing but worksheets, paper clips, and willpower.
Yeah.
And how about education, the school system, the nation's largest Band-Aid dispenser?
Yes. Often it feels that way, right?
Yes.
Here's a Band-Aid, and it's an open wound, right? The arm's almost falling off, but
yes.
here's a Band-Aid.
Here's a Band-Aid. It'll help it.
Yes.
Education, the nation's complaint department, open 24/7.
Yeah. It is 24/7
It used to, you could say 8 to 6, but with email and social media, it's a 24/7.
And then you go on TikTok and you hear all the trolls that I want to put duct tape on and silence them because they don't stop and they're doing it at 2 a.m.
Yes. And I have the last one is education, the country's sponge.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Soaking up every spill society makes.
Yeah, no, those are good and maybe help those teachers that aren't from a duct tape-centered world like we are, but in the sense of how education has become the fix-it-all for every problem in society. And teachers are being asked sometimes to hold everything together, to patch up society's cracks, fix family struggles, cure mental health crises, close achievement gaps, and still somehow make sure that every kid can read and multiply and do everything at the top level they can with a day that has not increased in time.
I mean, when you look at schools, collectively, you have children and families all together. It's easy to disseminate information. It is easy to connect with them because really, when you think of the largest groups of people who will be pulled together, it's in public schools.
Yes.
It's in school systems.
Yeah.
And those are
it's kind of like the last community place, right? So that's why I think schools do have a place. So we're not saying that they shouldn't be dealing with any of these issues, right? Because the church is in the center of the community. There were always other things that played that role. It's almost like if you look around, is there anything else? I can't think of anything else that has the significance of a school now where the community comes together, right? And children are part of that and the parents are part of it. And it often is a place people go to for meetings in their community or whatever, or they go on the field and they play on the playground. So it does have that cementing relationship with the community for sure.
Education is a powerful tool for change. Schools can help start educating children about social issues at a very young age. And at that age, as societal problems that occur, educating our students at a young age so they learn more about it, they learn to understand, learn to develop empathy. So schools are a natural place to start.
That's why, the old saying, everything I learned in kindergarten is actually – there's a lot of truth to that and a lot of warmth to that, right?
Yes.
And I feel sorry again for the kindergarten teachers, but there's so much where you kind of learn how to be a civilized human and work with others and be kind and considerate. And schools, of course, should play that role. So what I kind of feel, though, is is it really up to the school and the teacher every time there's a problem in society, whether now it's too many students going online and toxic masculinity and behaviors out there and other things. Now AI, we go, okay, schools, you solve it. Right?
And it's one thing to say you solve it and to take on those issues like food insecurity, which we would have discussed before.
Yeah.
But where are the programs? Where's the support? Where are the tools to provide teachers to be able to at least address some of these problems?
Yeah.
It's one thing where our Ministry of Education or the board office in your district says, yes, this is something we want to address.
Yeah.
And so they'll disseminate that expectation down through our administrators and down to the teachers. But where are the materials to support the teachers?
Yeah.
I mean, we all have our views about public policy. We all have our views about the problems that are within our communities. But you're expecting all the teachers to do some kind of a program without a whole lot of framework that's attached to it.
But don't you think also when this idea that, teachers will save society, don't you think that absolves everybody else, every other partner in society from doing their job, the politicians and other community leaders and parents and everybody else who's in that society? It says, well, it doesn't matter. The school will solve it. Yeah. You can mess up completely. We can maybe underfund something, but the school will solve it. So they suddenly go, I don't have to do anything.
And then when those programs are successful, who takes the credit for it?
Right. They do. They proudly do.
They say proudly.
Right?
Our district, right? Yeah. We.
No.
And it's like, well.
But time and time again, teachers do make it work.
Yes.
And I guess the question is, okay, obviously we recognize many of these things have to be part of the day and that we can't do it all, but we know that it's important. So how do you fit it into your day? Yeah. Like how do you make it and weave it in so that you still have time for the curriculum and the other things that you want to get done? So we're trying to think of the nugget and, we know the nugget can't be just teach the 3 R's and forget about everything else because it's often part of the curriculum.
It's more of that, yes.
But I think we're trying to, and we're actually having a struggle with how do we provide a nugget to teachers about what we think maybe has gone too far, because sometimes it's part of the curriculum, so you have to do it. Yes. Certain things, right? There's and certain
you don't
important
have a choice.
Things. So it's not places you have a choice. So, I think if there's new things that come up, teachers should feel comfortable pushing back, right? And saying, well,
okay.
Well, we're just a partner in this. We're one of the many people.
Right.
What's the government doing on this issue? Right? What's the board doing on this issue? What are the other partners in society doing? It can't just be teachers.
What are we getting in return?
So
that we can use to move forward.
Yeah.
If we're not getting anything, but we're told that this is what you should be doing.
Just put this on your plate, and the plate is full. We know it's full. So what we're trying to get to the point with the nugget, and we're not actually sure what it is right now. So we're making it up on the spot because we want this to be something useful, this nugget. How do we get that plate that's full where you can touch on these things, but maybe you could weave it into your curriculum, weave it into your day instead of having like a separate section that's social, emotional learning or nutrition or whatever.
I think that the nugget, when we're looking at what we traditionally do is the 3 R's, and then we're looking at a lot of the social, emotional learning, then can you somehow weave the social, emotional in with some of your regular curriculum?
Because I would with my class meetings and morning chats, and we would talk about everything there. That's why, to me, we go back to one of our earlier episodes about how making the foundation of the classroom a warm and friendly place.
Yes.
Right? It was a family. For both you and I, it was a family. So you could weave those conversations, and you could, the kids would bring up maybe they were on roadblocks too much and things like that. So you could start talking about being online. How many hours do you spend online? And you get this discussion, and it doesn't feel just like a section of the day where your kids learn, I should only do this, or I should be careful if this is something that happens online. And then they go home and they do whatever,
do whatever.
I think it's more meaningful when it's done in that family way
when it becomes
within the class
a weave
meeting.
of the things together so that the students can see its connectedness. And I think that's the important part. Yeah. How can you weave it in with all the things that you do so our students can see the connectedness instead of, it's time for this, stop.
I agree.
Time for this, stop. And a really good experience that I've had in trying to address food insecurity at Christmas time or near Christmas was we did a food drive at our school. And in that food drive, we put together flyers for in the school and we made hampers that would go into all the classrooms, and we made announcements, and we made this huge sort of program in where we collected food, we advertised for food, we shared statistics about the number of families that go without food or address food insecurity. We saw how much food we were able to collect.
And you probably talked at the same time about nutritional food. What can you bring in? Should it just be a case of Coke? So that became part of the discussion.
And while this entire experience had in it all lessons about mathematics and about calories and about the weight of food and how much food does a family eat and what is nutritional food and what is food insecurity and what is it like to be in need of food. Wow.
It was real.
It was, and what an impact it had on my students.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that, okay, today for an hour we're just going to talk about food insecurity.
Right, exactly.
Or we're going to talk about what a good diet is.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think, again, we want to make things real to the kids. And I think when you weave it in that way into something you're already doing and some activity they can do, it's so much better than something separate.
Yes.
And I think it's more manageable for the teacher when you can hit upon many different curriculum areas. You could do math, language arts, nutrition, online learning within an activity like that.
Yes. And everybody's involved, and in the sense that every student's involved, and there's something in that moment of that project.
Yeah.
So the math connects to the student who loves math, but maybe not to the student who dislikes math, but who loves standing in front of a crowd or a chance at the school making school announcements. That was a tick for that one. So, yes,
Done, right?
I got on. Everybody in the school heard me. So there is something for everybody. But at the same time, everybody's learning about the things that are important.
Yeah. So there, I think we did find it in the end. I think that's the point of the nugget is that, some things, push back on, but things that are part of the curriculum that you have to teach. And I think in many ways we're grateful some of those are part of the curriculum. I think we see schools as that. We just don't want schools to be the only player in the game on these topics. But weave it into what you already do. Whether it's more, Roy and I always talk about the class meetings and the morning chats. Other activities come up. Make it part of that seamless day so that you're not just trying to now, I got to come up with a lesson plan separate to everything else and then go, I didn't get to math today. I didn't get to language arts today. And that teachers get, I know, so worked up by that too because they do want to get the curriculum done and they want their kids to do well and they want them all to be solid citizens who could do well in life. So there you go. That's our nugget.
What's that sound?
What's that sound? Well, there's the sound. There is a sound.
There is a sound?
Yeah, I put it in. I'm going to put it in because I put it in after the fact.
So these sounds are like at your discretion?
They are.
If you're feeling like, I feel like there should be a sound here.
Well, we had them and I decided which ones and then you went, I don't like that or I'll put up with that or, And I went, no, I'm going to use it anyway. And then we had a couple episodes where I said, let's not have any sounds. But some of the sounds, I think it kind of is a good little reminder. We're moving to a new segment. So we've heard this sound for Homework Board. It's the detention hall one. That's the siren that I took away. But
I kind of like the siren.
I think I might bring it back this week because it's some people in that detention hall need a loud sound to tell the world, society, that they're in the detention hall since everything goes back into the classroom. This is kind of turning it around and pushing it back into society. But Homework Board.
Okay.
No field trip.
No field trip.
Okay.
There will be a field trip soon.
Good. Okay.
So one of the things that for the Homework Board I would like our listeners to do is share with us how they weave those social, emotional issues into their daily practice.
Yes, yeah.
What works for you?
The non-traditional curriculum parts, right?
Is there there a project or is there a thing that you do within the school? My example of my thing was the Christmas hamper drive, which tied in so many different aspects of the curriculum that it made it a natural a series of events that the students were able to draw from.
Yeah. So we want to hear from you. Again, we use that word organic.
Yes.
Probably overused in this world, but we like using it because it is organic.
But is it certified?
Yeah, no. We've certified it. It's our term now. So share. We want to know. We want to hear what you do and then share it with others because we all learn from each other, right?
That's right.
How do we do this so that we're not overwhelmed in the class? So what do you do? And also, feel free when an administrator does stand up at a staff meeting, go, oh, you're all going to solve society's problem. You're going to deal with this now. It's okay to push back, right? So part of my homework is also just double check that is that really in the curriculum? Is there a way maybe you can ask for support? Don't feel you have to say, oh, I've got to put that on my plate again. It's okay to push back in a way that, won't lose you your job, right? I don't want someone to lose their job because they listen to After the Bell. Please, we're trying to support you.
Yes.
Unless you're tired of your job, but you make that choice.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot to take on.
It is.
I guess we should go to the detention hall.
We should. I think we're going in the detention hall this week. See, there's the sound. The sound's back in.
The sound's back.
Loud siren.
Yes, and
detention hall.
Detention hall. And what can you tell us about the detention hall?
Well, I think, other than ourselves, we need to put in the politicians and the Ministry of Education types who only look to teachers to solve the ever-increasing problems of society. There's absurd examples of this. Luckily, has not hit Canada, but I know in America, the big problem with guns.
Yes.
So what's their solution sometimes? It's arm teachers, right?
Teachers.
Give them guns, metal detectors.
Of having a professional development day where they help teach teachers how to triage bullet wounds.
It's just horrible. And obviously, you may face that situation, so you want to be ready to deal with it.
You should know first aid.
But there's something wrong with society. When society's broken when that happens.
When that becomes part of the expectation that there will be some form of violence within a school and that teachers need to be prepared for it, that's scary.
It is scary. And how far do we take this? I mean, kids are going to get born and they'll go to the school and teachers will parent them completely. I think if society needs to look at itself and go, we're broken if we're making our teachers do that. So sometimes when politicians, they stand up and as you said earlier, they'll say, okay, we're going to have our teachers do this without any more money. And then when it's successful, they go, hey, we solved it. Look at way to go, right? And they need to say, to help society, maybe we need more counselors and mental health professionals in school.
Many schools don't have a full-time counselor.
No.
They have a counselor that comes in 1 day or 2 days a week, depending on the size of the school.
Yeah.
And then you don't have any problems until the counselor comes back.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
And when they're often at many schools, they get torn. There's something going on. They get pulled to that other school. So every school should have a full-time counselor.
Yes.
End of story, no matter what the size. At least one full-time counselor.
And think about it. If they had a full-time counselor and maybe that counselor didn't have students for that particular day, think of what that counselor could do in a leadership role within the school to support teachers and other students.
And I remember that at one time happening, right? Coming in to work with you. So you do some team teaching, right?
Yes.
It was gold. It was fabulous. And then smaller class sizes. We've talked about this, right? Alberta just lost 3 weeks of wages fighting for this. I hope they get it. We all need to push for those. More EAs. I mean, in the last election, we heard there was going to be more EAs, but that seemed to have disappeared with the tariff trade talks and all that nonsense, right? They recognize that society has a problem, so how do we support more EAs? And now suddenly we don't hear that anymore.
Yes. And can you think about if you had one more adult in the classroom as an EA that would work with a variety of students with you.
Yeah.
2 adults in the classroom.
Yeah.
What kind of
You could
movement forward
Yeah.
could you make
Yeah.
with that?
You could
And-
solve so many of these
Yes.
societal problems much better, right? Without duct tape. You wouldn't feel you got the duct tape,
Yes.
right? You'd feel,
Yes.
okay, this is permanent. And then time for teachers to plan, collaborate, and just get a sense of what they're doing, right? I think that's so important. But that's not what's happening, right?
No.
We have people that are saying, here's the duct tape, so we're putting them in the detention hall. So if you don't like my sounds, why don't you suggest some sounds? Like I'm using these. That was the rear view mirror sound.
I like that sound though.
Okay,
I've
you're okay
always
with
liked
that?
the
Okay.
rear
Yeah, it's like
view
a
mirror
tape
sound.
machine going backwards, right?
Yep.
Okay, but
tape machine. Look at how old we sound. The tape machine going backwards.
what's a tape machine?
Oh,
Do you remember-
with the albums, it would go backwards, and people would say, oh, "There's demonic,
right?
demonic
There's all these-
phrases or something like
There's
that."
all these things about the Beatles albums if you do it backwards.
If you do it backwards, and
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, no.
But I can hear that sound of like when you're showing a movie on the old 8mm movie and stuff,
Yeah.
and if it flipped at the end, that click, click,
click, click, click, click,
right?
click. Yep.
Or playing that backwards.
Yes.
So, listeners, are you still there? Are you still there, listeners?
Oh, Roy and Martin are having a moment.
It's rearview mirror after all. We don't have to go far back in the past. We just do our past, and for many listeners, that's ancient history.
Yes.
But we want to look back like 100 years ago kind of thing in terms of how it has changed in terms of expecting the school to fix all of society's problems.
100 years ago, it was the sage on the stage.
Yeah, really, right? Yeah. Oh, the joy of that. You stood up there.
At
you
the
were
front.
God.
You were,
you-
I don't know
you're still
about that. You were at the front of the room for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. And all the chairs were facing the front of the room.
Yes.
And so the students could either see you and you could see if they weren't looking at you.
Yeah, and it was the 3 R's, really. That's really what it was. Reading, writing, arithmetic. They couldn't spell in those days.
That's right. And then the whole idea that it was you would go over and over, rote memory exercises, multiplication tables for sure.
Yeah.
You memorize.
Yeah, and then discipline. Discipline was strict. Usually included some corporal punishment, right?
Yes.
You know, maybe with a paddle or a ruler.
Ruler.
Did you
The
get it?
Strap.
Did you get the strap? Because
I came very close to getting the
in
strap.
BC they got rid of it my second year in 1972, grade 2.
Grade 8.
Yeah.
I launched a snowball when it was the end of winter, but there were piles of snow all over the field in the playground, and I saw my friend Brad. Just his back was facing me, and
how could you resist?
I just stood.
How could you?
I
say
just
no?
walked up, and there was a pile of snow in front of me, and I made a snowball, and I launched that snowball at Brad, and just as I released it, I felt the claw of doom on my shoulder, and I turned. It was our vice principal, and they had stated that anyone throwing snowballs would be subjected to the strap. And I went, what? And so I went into the principal's office, the vice principal's office.
Yes.
And I drew on all my theatrical skills.
Nice. You do wail?
I did. I was able to produce real tears.
Yeah, it's effective.
Real tears. And he said, oh, well, you've never been here before.
Oh.
So... yeah, I changed when I was in the upper grades in the elementary school, and so he let me go, and then I was able to get out of his office, and I did a good bow.
Well done.
Thank you.
But student behavior was basically managed with violence, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
and you'd be expelled, right? Very common thing. Violence, and no, you can't be here at all.
Yep.
And then 100 years ago, even for teachers, I mean, their conduct in personal life, right?
Yes. You were held up to a higher level of scrutiny than students and families.
And not even 100 years ago. I remember I did my practicum, 1989, and my advisor, Don Fletcher, wonderful man, but he would talk about when he started teaching, which might have been 60s, I guess, but if he went to the liquor store, he would go in one like in a community far away because if people saw you, they'd all be, oh, did you see Mr. Fletcher? He was getting some wine or beer, right? So that's how you were judged. And I think for women too, they often couldn't get married.
I think women were held to a higher level of scrutiny.
Absolutely. And they had to stop teaching if they were married, and it was just horrible. So the expectations was quite different.
And as for that the social part was cleanliness.
Yeah, so the schools did get involved there. That's when they did.
Was it cleanliness is next to godliness?
See, and you're standing in the front room with God.
Yes.
See, it all comes together.
I remember, again, putting my hands on my desk.
Yes.
Stretched out, and my teacher examining my fingernails for cleanliness. And I think at that time, the biggest thing was scabies.
Yeah.
Was something.
Sounds like rabies.
Scabies, rabies, cooties.
Well, cooties, remember? Like lice was,
With lice.
But getting the cooties, that's where it all went back to. But scabies, was it like a
scabies is something underneath you would get underneath your fingernails,
okay.
and it was something that was contagious.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And
scabies,
the shaming, right? The shaming. That's why the cooties idea
and then
came along.
head lice. Oh my gosh! And it's funny because head lice is something that would pop up. You'd think 100 years ago.
Yeah.
But I can remember we've had. Problems just
still today.
Today,
many
still
as much as ever. Yeah, for sure. No, for sure. No, and then that's the thing. We're looking back 100 years ago, and even like you think of your average student, their expectations. Most of them would go, "Well, you might not even finish high school."
Yes.
Right. There was just,
and that was okay.
Yeah. Right. But now at least we have an expectation, and we're going to make sure everyone gets a chance to go to trade school, get an education at university, get a full developed education. But if you had any issues, if you had learning disabilities, it was too bad. You were not in that class. Yeah. And that's why I often say when people talk about class size, well, you could probably have 50 of those kids in that class because they were kind of at the same level. You weren't dealing with people that were new to learning the English language, that had some issues that had to be supported, that were maybe hungry, right? So things have changed. And I think for the most part, we're talking in rearview mirror about how it was 100 years ago because we're kind of showing that we do accept and celebrate what the education system does today, right?
Yes.
It's inclusive, and we want that.
It is.
But have we gone too far? And that's where listeners, I want to know, do you think we've gone too far? Maybe we need to do more. Maybe we haven't gone far enough. But I think there's a sense out there that we can't be all things to all students at all time, and we can't patch all of society's problems like that duct tape.
Like the duct tape. Said, throw it on and we'll fix it.
Well, yeah, I got. There's some repairs to my cord here, so I might need some duct tape as I wrap up and collect all my materials and put them back in. And got my microphones, but I can see I might use that duct tape. I used it as a prop for our video, but I think. I'll use it for what it's meant for. I think
you'll actually need to use it for what it's meant for.
Exactly.
Yes.
Not for my classroom.
Not for your classroom.
Thanks, Roy. Elroy.
Thanks, Martin.
Thanks, listeners. This podcast is organic, taking shape with each episode. Building resiliency for teachers everywhere.
That sounds great.
And our website is stuntbrothers.ca.
That's stuntbrothers.ca.
We will chat again.
After the bell.